Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles. I'm back with another video, and I'm actually going to be talking about, again, the Hot Toys Batmissle, which was announced today for pre-order. I did already do a quick reaction video earlier this morning, but since I was actually more awake and was able to kind of digest the whole thing and go through, I have some updated thoughts that I want to share with you, along with some answers to some kind of comments that I received not only on my video, but throughout social media. So obviously, this, I think, came as a surprise. Anyone out there that said, oh, I called it, you're full of shit. Point blank, don't mean to be rude, but it is what it is. This one here is really awesome. And I know people also said to me in the comments, because I made a comment about something about this being the one thing, vehicle-wise, and the people were like, what about the 92 Batboat? And I was like, yeah, if Hot Toys does that, I forgot all about it. So aside from this being pretty badass, price point, everything like that, I already have it on pre-order. I did a little bit of research on this Batmissle because there's actually not a lot of information out there on it. And the one thing that really I enjoyed about looking at these Hot Toy photos was it just gave you a more detailed look of the actual product itself. If you go back and look at things, the car was only used in the movie for like 45 seconds, which is this scene here, which I'm going to loop it around a few times because I want to dissect it a little bit. But what's cool about it is, aside from like Kenner and like model kits and stuff like that, there really isn't a lot of like set production photos taken of this piece. So it was really hard to get a really good look at this car. And so I'm just treating the Hot Toys photos as just something cool to look at in its own right, that we finally get some detailed photos of the actual piece. Now, obviously, like I said, it was used in this particular scene here. A couple of things to break down. Obviously, one thing that really caught my eye, which is really funny, is that somehow the Batmobile went from a two-seater to a one-seater. And you see here as he hits all the buttons, when he's about to go through this very narrow piece of architecture that Gotham decided to create, he just basically hits anything that he can find on the console to get this thing to do something. And so when he removes all the buttons, you see the canopy itself splits in the center and actually closes itself. Everything on the car, like the flaps and everything, detach, and the wheels compress in, and just everything compacts on the car. And it is technically a one-seater. So that was some of the comments I saw, people saying, oh, it's inaccurate because it's a one-seater. You have to remember, you got a little bit of movie magic here, that it goes from, a two-seater, which you can see here in these photos. These are some stills from the car in the opening, which evidently it is. He never has anyone actually in the passenger side in this movie. But you're assuming, because it's the same car, it is a two-seater. And this scene right here is when he actually sits down inside of it, when he removes the shields, when the crowd is chasing him. And that's right when Penguin actually takes over the Batmobile. And so all these scenes here throughout the movie allude to the fact that it's just the same 89 Batmobile with some tricked out features to it. So now here I want to just break this scene down still from still. So you have obviously that showing the first scene, which is that narrow path between the two buildings, and then Batman starts to hit all the console buttons. Now the first thing you'll see, the first scene is the top of the canopy. Actually, there's like a strip that splits out of the center of the canopy, and then it compresses itself. So it automatically makes itself smaller, and then components start flying off of the sides of the vehicle. Other things start to strip away, the side fins, all those components and things. And then we get a nice close-up shot of the wheels, where the wheels actually are out further, and then they compress themselves inward. Notice that the hubcaps are actually black on this. Whether or not they're bronze or whatnot, it's hard to see. But here from the still, they look obviously black. And then you actually see more of the gears and things like that, and extra wheels come about, and which is really cool, really interesting. And then you see another shot of how narrow it is, how it's going to fit through that building, which is really, like I said, it's funny how Gotham architecture decided to leave the most narrow space, and the car just movie magic escapes through with a couple little scrape marks on the side. And then you also notice how when it makes a sharp turn, you actually don't even see the wheels turn. It just kind of makes like an awkward, hard right turn itself. So that's all you see of the vehicle, but I just wanted to break that down because now looking at what we have available to go by, if anyone collected the old toys from the series, this is like one of the more popular and very more rare and expensive pieces that was out. And this was the 92 Batmobile with that exact feature where it was the car, and then you would hit a button and then both sides would actually break off and you would have the actual Batmissle. Furthermore, a quick Google search won't turn up that many photos. These are just a couple of production stills that I found background of the vehicle. But once again, they don't really tell a whole story. Very dark, very grim. You don't see a lot. These are just get you an idea of some photos of the vehicle, but you don't see a lot of the details. There's obviously a lot of your references are mostly all toys, model kits, and even like I found like this kind of illustration of the actual Batmissile itself, but there still isn't a lot to go by. And then also there's another scene in the movie, I couldn't get the clip of it, but if you recall, there's a point right here where he's actually working on the car, and Alfred asks him if he's going to attend that ball, and he says Selena Kyle might be there. But from here, you can just allude to see that like the Batmobile is back in its place, and it's back to a two-seater. So it goes from two-seater, one-seater, two-seater. Once again, that's more like movie magic. I always say when they're making this stuff back then, they're not worried about toys 20, 30 years from now. They're just looking at what makes sense for the story. So once again, here we have. And then the other thing I want to point out is I found these two images, which are pretty cool. These are actually models that were used in the movie that were actually sold at auction. So you have two side profile pictures of them. They're not perfectly detailed. They're not meant to be because once again, they're being shot from a distance versus, really up close. I don't think there really is that much anything that's super up close anyway, because if you watch how the scene was, it really probably was mostly done with like miniatures and things. Hot Toys really, I think, gave us the best photos of it. Now, to talk about some of the things of accuracy, what really was interesting to me is the actual length of the vehicle. Now, I pulled up the Batman wiki page where I got some detailed information about the Batmissile, and it actually gave us a breakdown of what the actual length of the car is, which I'll post it here. And if we do the conversion, it does equal out to the Hot Toys vehicle being a 6-scale vehicle. There was already comments being made about, was this something that Jazz Inc. was going to make? I mean, they already have a couple projects of what they're working on. And so one thing we have to remember is this is obviously brand new R&D. So this is a project that was not just something they decided to make last night. This is something that was probably a minimum 1 year in the works, if not more, because of the length of the vehicle. It does have USB, and just the design of the vehicle, it required brand new R&D, and that is why I feel like we got an 89 Batmobile reissue, because they were really kind of putting the R&D into this versus a updated Batmobile. I honestly really do feel that. But the idea of people thinking that, well, what about Jazz Inc.? I mean, this was in his voting groups to be one of the projects that people did have interest in, but it wasn't, voted on. And that's kind of the way they do things, is things are just voted on by their closed Facebook group. And that's typically the next project. That's not exactly a process that I agree with. But I know there's people out there that usually claim, accuracy. Well, Hot Toys stepped up and made this thing 6 scale. And I know people might go out there and challenge me in terms of the length and, it's really not this, it's that. That's fine. You guys, anyone can do what they want. I'm just saying that Hot Toys legitimately did redesign this and make the car longer to make it more 1/6 scale, which I know that was one of the more heavy criticisms of the 89 Batmobile. So kudos to Hot Toys for that. The price point I still think was a little steep at $610, but I can kind of, in my own head, have to justify it because of the new R&D, the USB. It's not USB-C from my understanding, it's just USB right now. So baby steps, it might be USB-C down the road, but I'm really hoping to get more photos and secret base footage because this is just a really awesome looking piece. It's a niche piece. It's not for everybody. Even some Keaton fans may not get this just because of the price point. That's okay. It's completely understandable. It's not going to be for everybody. But, if Jazz Inc. was to make something like this, it's probably going to be like a $1,500, $1,600 piece. And I just don't know if something like this is that necessary to spend that kind of money, because there was already people out there today making comments that they would rather pay Jazz Inc. to make it. And I'm just kind of perplexed by that because although, like I said, I have the 89 Batmobile, it's just I don't understand, I think the Hot Toys in this sense is more than sufficient. I don't consider this, quote, cheap. I know people said, this is the cheaper option. I don't consider $600 cheap. That, for other people that might be, which is nice. For me, $600 is a lot of money. And so I think that you're getting your bang for your buck out of this, to be honest. And I just don't know if the value in a Jazz Inc. product is really worth it to pay double and a little more. I just don't see it personally for this particular niche product. This could still be something that Jazz Inc. makes, But as of now, there's been no word on him doing it. He's got other projects in the pipeline, but it very well could be something one day that he does explore. But until then, Hot Toys definitely stepped up and gave us brand new R&D on a niche product, which really opens the door, in my opinion, for them to explore other things. I still think they're in the 6-scale vehicle game where many people think they got out of it. I tend to disagree because they're dropping stuff like this. That doesn't mean that we can't get a 66 Batmobile, the 22 Batmobile, the Justice League Batmobile. There's no reason why Hot Toys can't give us that, because they are no longer really following a certain timetable. They are putting out stuff when they want to at any given time. And so they're more unpredictable now than I think they have ever been, at least since I've been collecting. Not only the quality, I should say the quantity of the products, but what they're actually putting out. Terminator, I mean, the Batman 92 stuff, the 89 stuff. I mean, it's wild. I don't think Aliens, nothing is off the table at this point. And so as a collector, you just have to be prepared and just make sound decisions that, are good for you, that are comfortable for you. And this is one, like I said, I think it's a great piece. I'm already on board with it. But it's not going to be for everybody, and I understand that. And so I just wanted to kind of give a little bit more of information on this product that I didn't have this morning because I had time to research it. And so I just wanted to kind of give a little more feedback in terms of, the accuracy situation, because like I said, the vehicle does go from a 2-seater, 1-seater, 2-seater. So Hot Toys is correct in that design. And frankly, they are probably going to have access to more information than the general public does. I'm not saying the car is going to be 100% perfect. I noticed that they got the rims black, which are nice because the 89 Batmobile had silver. So there is touches to things I see. It's not perfect still. I'm not claiming it to be. The matte finish doesn't look like, it should be a little bit glossier. It looks more matte from what I can see. But as I said, we have to see it kind of from, get more in-hand footage to see what it really looks like. But as of right now, I'm really loving this piece. I really am. And so I just hope that I could shed a little bit more light on there, because frankly, I think there are other people out there that maybe have been misleading with some stuff or just kind of speaking out of their ass. It is what it is. It's all good. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully there's some information you may not know that you know now. But I really do appreciate it. Drop a comment below. Drop a like on this video. And until then, this is Mr. Mob Collectibles saying take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.